Hello everyone, how are you? I hope that you are doing well. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Nina or Sinfulpluto, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for joining us here today. I hope that you enjoy your stay here and you receive a message that you need to hear for the upcoming week. Alright, so today we're going to be going over what we should be expecting, what's in store for us for this upcoming week of September 23rd all the way through the 29th. Okay. We have a Libra new moon coming up this week on the 28th, which I believe is a Sunday. I want to say it's a Sunday, but I could be wrong. But we're going to go over the general energies, what you should be expecting, what's in store for us this week, and then we're going to go into a quick little pick a card that is a little bit more specific to you and to your energies, things like that, okay? So that'll be more so like the end. But first, we're going to be going over general energies, okay? Today, I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot. If you're interested, I'll link it down in the description bar if you are interested. So let's go ahead and get started, my loves. So, what is in store for the collective between... Okay. They're already coming out. Hold on. What is in store for the collective between September 23rd all the way through the 29th? All right, we got the Hierophant. That came out. The Hierophant and the High Priestess reversed both came out. Okay. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Can you see that? The Ace of Pentacles reversed. And then the Queen of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so the Hierophant is Capricorn, Taurus energy, to me at least. Hierophant, or the High Priestess is water sign energy, specifically Cancer and Pisces for me. So, you know, some of us could be dealing with a lot of themes that are related to Cancer, Capricorn, Pisces, Taurus energy, or there could be a person in our lives who has that sign who's playing a major role in our lives for this week, okay? So the Hierophant is all about commitment. It is all about what is orthodox. It is all of tradition, conventions, what is expected of us, government, power structures, things along those lines, right? And we also have the High Priestess reverse, which talks about ulterior motives. It talks about superficiality. It talks about secrets being revealed. So on a collective level, I honestly feel that there could be some sort of secrets or, secrets, unknown information to the masses, to the public, that could be revealed about government power structures, perhaps even religious structures, a lot of secrets being revealed about traditions and how they may not be the most productive or proactive sorts of energy, if that kind of makes sense. Just a lot of, I think, corruption is, I think, being revealed this week in terms of like more of a societal sort of thing, because the Hierophant is society. I also feel that with the Hierophant on a more personal level, this could just be secrets being revealed in your personal life, in terms of family structures, in terms of parents, in terms of friends, family structures. I think I just said that. And a lot of things kind of coming to the surface in terms of maybe things that we don't want to admit, maybe things that we were in denial of, or simply things that we were not aware of for however long. And it's almost like a karmic justice sort of thing, which kind of makes sense because we're going into Libra season this week. So it only makes sense that secrets are being revealed in order for the scales to be balanced out, for equilibrium to be reached again, because, in terms of like government and shit, obviously, things aren't doing very well. And I think that this Libra season is just an opportunity for things to come to the surface and for karmic justice to be had, so to speak. So that's one thing to take note of. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. This is kind of like a missed opportunity sometimes. This can also be someone who focuses a little bit too much on financial stability or are overly dependent on it or kind of make it their only goal. They're so fixated on perhaps more money or status or reputation that it leads to regression rather than progression. So if you find yourself this week focusing a little bit too much on how much money you're making or how much money you're not making or status, reputation, your public persona, I think this week you're being encouraged to not focus so much on that, to not fixate so much on that energy, because at the end of the day, it's not helpful for you. It's not going to make you feel any better, especially when you're trying to force something to happen. I feel like with this Ace of Pentacles reversed, it's just time to, I think, simply absorb the information that is going to be revealed to us this week, not to, be so quick to make any sort of decisions. Is that kind of make sense? So I want to get further into this Ace of Pentacles reversed for some of us. On a more societal level, with this High Priestess and the Ace of Pentacles reversed, it could be that there's some sort of secret or something that, is related to, that is, like, revealed by the government or revealed by the masses in some sort of way that is, like, in some way related to government and politics and things of that nature. Something about money or stability or reputation, right? I feel like someone's reputation might be on the line. But, I mean, at the same time, whose reputation isn't on the line when it comes to politics and whatnot. So let's see. We have death that came out. So a complete death and rebirth sort of situation where someone is going to feel vulnerable. I feel like this week might feel a little bit like a very vulnerable week for some of us, and we might feel as though we are completely stripped of our armor, completely stripped of our suit. But I feel like even though it might seem very scary, vulnerability is a very scary thing. Absolutely. It's a very scary thing. But I feel like it's kind of a blessing in disguise for many of us. And we have the Fool here. So having death and then the Fool, like I said, this is a complete death and rebirth situation. This is the reason why our feathers are being completely plucked off. And, it feels like we're being peeled or, everything is just being taken away from us and we're just skin and bones. It's so that we can regenerate and so that we can have a new outlook, a new perspective, a new beginning. I mean, we have the autumnal equinox. I was going to say autumnal spring equinox, but the autumnal equinox coming up this Libra season. I don't know if it's this week or I think it's when the sun goes into Libra. I don't remember. Anyway, so you can do all your research online some other time if you're interested. But I feel that with this equinox, this just is kind of symbolic of the new beginning that we have, or kind of the reset in a sense that we will have from now until the end of the year and until like Aries season, essentially. I really do feel like it's a new beginning for a lot of us, and I feel like we're going to have to be very resilient with this Strength card. And I feel like it's important for us to learn compassion this week, to be compassionate, to hold love not only for others, but to hold love for ourselves, to make space for love for ourselves, to be loving, to be empathetic towards ourselves and others, to be compassionate, to be better, to try better, and be better and do better, so that we can spread just a little bit more love in the current field that we're in. The current political field, societal field that we're in. It's just spread a little bit of love in a time that is just full of hatred, honestly. I think it's a time to hold space for all of that. This is very deep and very symbolic. I love using this deck because I feel like it just goes further than just the mundane. I feel like it talks about some deeply rooted things that maybe some of us just don't want to admit. There's a lot of major arcana here. There are a lot of big themes that are at play this week, honestly, and I'm not surprised because there is a huge shift between Aries season to now, and so Libra season to the next Aries season. I mean, it's a lot to take in. There's a lot of stuff that is going up, that has been building up, that has been accumulating. And I feel like with this Ace of Pentacles reverse, some of us have kind of been missing the target. We have been missing the whole point of something, whether, or we just haven't been hitting, we haven't been hitting our target, you know, because this to me looks like a target. So it's like we have been stuck in the same structures and the same patterns, habits, doing the same thing all over again because it's routine. And I feel like it's being really revealed to us with this High Priestess reverse. It's being revealed to us how that's just not working anymore, and how there has to be a little bit of a reboot. There has to be a bit of a software update. There has to be a bit of rejuvenation. We need a reset, I think, this week, and this is the perfect time to do it. And I feel like with this full moon in Libra, I feel like that is a really great time to accept the new and to manifest a lot of strength, a lot of inner strength, a lot of inner resilience, and to manifest non-attachment and an ability to hold your ground and to stand your ground. Especially with Libra season, because Libra season is all about balance. That doesn't necessarily mean all that's fair, but to maintain peace. And so sometimes we might find ourselves, you know, trying to maintain peace despite, or ignoring displeasing circumstances or not so great circumstances, ignoring those sort of things or situations with people or whatever, or just ignoring kind of like red flags in a way, in order to maintain a peaceful environment. And that sometimes kind of bites us in the butt. And I think this week is kind of the time to manifest strength, to manifest compassion, empathy, a strong will, so that we don't end up falling into those habits, okay? So let's get into a lesson that we should learn this week, or a lesson that is encouraged for us to learn this week. What is the lesson for the week? What is our lesson for the week? What is the lesson for this week? 5 of Pentacles reversed and 5 of Swords reversed. A lot of fives, a lot of change, a lot of conflict, honestly. It's a little bit, you know, friction. A little bit of friction, but there's nothing wrong with friction. You know, sometimes we need that friction in order to build a fire, right? 5 of Pentacles reversed. 5 of Swords reversed. And then King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. The 5 of Pentacles reversed to me signifies a lot about having to open your eyes to the opportunities right in front of you. I feel like a lot of us this week might feel so incredibly vulnerable, and we might feel that we have no way to kind of get out of the situation or to not feel vulnerable. We might be like in self-preservation mode, but it's in a way where it's like you're trying to take care of yourself and you're trying to kind of maintain your shell, but we kind of have to change our mindset a little bit to look at things a little bit differently, to surrender and not allow the situation to drag itself out, to not drag the situation out. Because with this 5 of Swords, this can signify how we just kind of need to let it all go, to surrender, to just let the situation end. If there's something that we have been dragging out this week, if there is, you know, a drama, some sort of petty drama situation that has just been dragged out for far too long, maybe it's just time to end it, even if it does hurt your ego a little bit. And it's okay if you don't get your way, or if you don't win the argument, because at the end of the day, is that victory in that argument really going to help you in the long run? Does it increase your income? Does it make you happier in the long term? What does it do besides a boost in ego, you know? So we might have to look at things differently. We need a new perspective. We need a new beginning, okay? Rather than just remaining in the thing that is normal or conventional or that is expected of us with the Hierophant. It's a time, I think, to no longer listen to what people say you should do based on their own expectations, based on their own conditioning, and follow what you believe is right, what you believe is the path for you. Open your eyes to new perspectives and open your eyes to new beginnings, I think, rather than just sitting in a puddle of sorrow or grief or pity even, and grieving over the old life no longer being there, grieving over the conventions kind of breaking away, because that is an opportunity for you to create new traditions for yourself rather than just remaining in things that are just outdated. So that's what I have for you, darlings. I think that is a great message for this overall energy. I'm going to keep it at that so that it's not like super long. But that is what I have for general energies, and I'll be back in a few seconds for you to go ahead with this pick a card. All right? Bye. Hi, my loves. So this week we have 5 piles in which you can choose to see what is in store for you this upcoming week. All right, so group number 1 is fluorite, number 2 is amethyst, 3 opal, 4 lapis lazuli, and 5 pyrite. So go ahead and close your eyes, take a few deep mindful breaths, and ask your spirit guides or your angels or your ancestors what card resonates with your energy, what is expected for you this week. And once you have your answer, go ahead and open your eyes, check the timestamp in my description box, and go to that and enjoy. Hello, group 1. Obviously, if you chose this group, you chose the fluorite. So let's go ahead into this reading for you and let's see how the week will impact you and what was in store for you. So we have the Hermit, okay? So Virgo energy, right? We're leaving Virgo season and we're going into Libra season. There could be a Virgo who plays a strong role in your life, or you could also simply be a Virgo yourself or have Virgo placements. But overall, Virgo energy could play a big role in your life this week or have a big impact for you. We have the Page of Pentacles reversed and the Knight of Cups, and then I'll get into the Oracle cards in a little bit. So, the Hermit. The Hermit talks about isolation. It talks about, being a little bit solitary, being in solitude, being a little bit of a recluse. It talks about getting to know yourself and reflecting on your own spirituality, reflecting on who you are as a person, and following your own path rather than following the path that everyone takes, kind of like the road less taken. The Hermit can talk about how some of us might be feeling like we just need to go into Hermit mode a little bit. Maybe we feel a little bit overwhelmed by this week's energies, which is okay. But I think it's important for us to use this energy and use this time proactively. And what I mean by that is not simply just laying in bed all week or all day, doing absolutely nothing, and just sitting in bed, staring at your ceiling, doing nothing. Hermit mode doesn't have to mean being on social media all day, locked up in your room with the blinds closed, drinking no water, not really taking care of yourself in any sort of way. What I mean by hermit mode is that if you are taking that sort of route where you're kind of just drifting through the days and kind of being numb, which I understand. We all have those days. I have those days, all of that, it happens. It happens pretty frequently, if I'll be honest. And it's something that I'm working on. And I feel like it happens, especially like in the social media world. We want to watch what everyone else is doing while we're locked up in our own rooms, not doing anything, maybe feeling a little bit jealous, a little bit envious, pitying ourselves, feeling bad for ourselves because we don't have that life, and kind of always making these comparisons. If you're the person who is going down that route in terms of hermit mode, I encourage you to do things a little bit differently that week. If you are going to go into hermit mode, don't just lock yourself up in your room and just let your mind go numb and kind of mindless. Don't be so mindless when you go into hermit mode. And again, we have those days where we just want to completely disconnect, where we do want to be mindless. That's okay. But if it's a thing where it's almost every day that it's happening, I encourage you to make small changes, to be a little bit mindful. So with this hermit mode, use this time and energy proactively. Journal a little bit, meditate a little bit, practice some yoga, reflect. Ask yourself some questions. There are really great questions that you can literally Google, like journaling questions or questions for introspection that you can literally ask yourself, and you can write down your response, and you can ponder that idea. You can contemplate, and you can reflect on yourself, and you can think about things that maybe you need to work on, or maybe things that you're proud of in terms of yourself. And maybe there are things that you have achieved and you're really proud of, and you want to acknowledge that, okay? Maybe there are certain things that you have had a hard time healing from, and, maybe you can work on that a little bit, little by little. It doesn't have to be all at once, but putting in the effort to be mindful, to be aware, rather than kind of just a disconnected robot almost. And this isn't referring to the people who just, for example, are like clinically depressed and they just can't find the will to do all of that. I'm not talking about that, because that's a pretty extreme circumstance. I'm not talking about that, and I know that it's difficult to do that. But it's just, the lesser of the extremes of this is what I'm referring to. So I feel that this week, I'm like rambling a lot, I'm sorry. So this week, I feel that the energy for a lot of us could be that with this hermit, right, you want to introspect, or you kind of just want to be alone in the dark. You don't really want to be around people. You don't really want to interact. Some of you, I see you using this energy proactively, reflecting, introspecting, getting to know yourself, learning about yourself, gaining wisdom through reflection and introspection. And by asking questions, and by researching and learning and all of this other stuff, right? And by focusing, by meditating, by practicing yoga, right? There's a lot of like revelations that you have by simply being alone in silence. But there are other parts of you where I see you doing the scrolling. I see you comparing your life to others, and you're like, wow, like I really wish I had that. But there's no sort of effort. It's a mindless sort of comment, and it's just like there's no sort of effort that is made to perhaps bring you a step closer to the life that you want to achieve. And I say that because I have the Page of Pentacles reversed, which is like there's an idea, there's a wish, there is a concept, a project that you want, something, right? Something. And it's right here. And you're staring at it and you're like, wow, like look at all of this potential. Look at the life that I can have right now. And all I would have to do is just plant it. And rather than planting it, you just stare at it. And that's what it feels like with this Page of Pentacles reversed, is that there's no sort of planting. There is a lot of wishing. There's a lot of saying. There is a lot of, I want this, I want this, I want that. I want to have this life, da-da-da-da. I wish I had this life, whatever. But there's no sort of action. There is no sort of plan. There's no strategy. There's no blueprint. There is no roadmap created. The seed of this potential isn't planted. It's not being planted. And that leads to a lot of opportunities being missed out on, because there's no sort of effort, there's no action, okay? Nothing can just like fall into your lap. Does that kind of make sense? And I feel that with this Page of Pentacles, it's important for you to focus and to not get so distracted by the outside. That's why we have hermit here. It's important for you not to get distracted by the outside or by what you see in other people or what you see on social media or whatever. Like, it's all internal work that I think is important for you this week. And I feel that once you begin to focus, once you begin to apply yourself, you will be able to receive offerings here. Knight of Cups. This is an offer. This is an opportunity. For some of you, this could be like a love offer, right? For some of you, you know, maybe you're wishing for a relationship, but you're literally just in bed all day not doing anything, and you're just like swiping on Tinder. Not really, like, you're getting matches, but it's like not really people that you're interested in. It's just more of like an ego boost of like, oh my god, like someone thinks I'm pretty or thinks I'm attractive, right? It's not actually like, oh, like I actually want to get to know this person. Apply yourself. For example, if you want a relationship, go out. It doesn't have to be, you know, just online, especially like if it hasn't been working for you online, like for example on Tinder or Bumble or Grindr or whatever, you know, is suiting you. If it hasn't been working for you, try something different. Do something different. Apply yourself differently. Go out. Even if it's alone, yes, it can be intimidating, but go to places that you enjoy. If you're an artist, maybe go to like Michael's and talk to people there. And it doesn't have to be like just going up to a random person and be like, hi, how are you? Can you be my friend or something? No, it doesn't have to be a weird thing. Go to places where you know people are talking, interacting, socializing. Perhaps it's at a bar. Perhaps it's at a concert. Perhaps it's at some sort of open event, some sort of, I don't know, like charity work. I don't know, something. Do that and get to know people and network. And I feel that once you apply yourself in that way, rather than just sitting and expecting it to come to you, you will gain, or you will yield more results that way. Does that kind of make sense? Yes, it's not disheartening. It's nerve-wracking. Yes, absolutely. It's a very vulnerable state to be in, especially in the social media world where we are no longer forced to interact with people, right? But we have to build social ability. We have to build socialization, social competency. Okay? We can't just be socially inept our entire lives and rely solely on the internet. You know, internet works for some people, that's fine. But if it's not working for you, try something different. That's all I'm saying. And so we have the Knight of Cups, right? It could be that there is someone who comes into your life who wants to offer something to you that is different from what you are doing, right? So this could be like someone making an offer to go out, to help you apply this new sort of habit, so to speak. An offer to basically pull you out of hermit mode if you have been just mindlessly laying in bed and just not really doing anything proactive or productive. Not to say that you're not allowed to have that, but if it is an everyday thing, maybe there should be some changes that are made. Yes? Okay. We have focus. I don't know if you can see, but it's a 14. 14 that adds up to 5 in numerology, which is change, sometimes conflict, it's friction, it's change. And then we have surrender. So this is 26, that adds up to an 8, which is like abundance. And then we also have the abundance card. So, focus, right? Focus and the hermit. It's awesome that these line up, right? You need to focus. Some of you could be seeing a lot of butterflies with the butterfly right here. You might be receiving messages from butterflies. That's basically a time of transformation. A lot of you could be going through a lot of spiritual transformation, I feel like. Some of you are kind of in your own bubble, which is good because you need to be in hermit mode. I feel like some of you, if it's not necessarily, for some of you, it doesn't have to be the whole, like just being a little bit mindless thing. For some of you, it could literally just be that you are following a spiritual journey. You are on your spiritual journey right now. You are reflecting. You're putting in the work. You are doing all of these wonderful things, right? And this card right here is encouraging you to focus and to not get distracted. For those of you who are being a little bit mindless, this card is telling you not to get distracted and to put focus on the thing that you want so that your dream can become tangible. Because right now, the thing that you want is not tangible, and it's not going to be unless you apply yourself and put in some action, put in some, effort, okay? I also feel like with the Hermit and the Focus card, that's saying that I think that a lot of you this week will find yourself meditating a lot, or just contemplating and thinking about a plan. I feel like a lot of you are applying yourselves, or you will be finding yourselves, or you will find that you are applying yourselves a lot more, focusing a lot more on your dreams and your ideas and concepts that you have created. And I find you creating, sorry, I have like something in my nose, you're finding the blueprint, and you're basically building up so that eventually you can start putting in the action and start like planting the seed and like watering it and giving it its sunlight so that that project or that idea can come into fruition so that you can be abundant, right? Because we have the abundance card here, which I'll get to in a second. So that's something, I think. And for some of you, I feel like, you might be having a little bit of control issues with the Surrender card. Some of you might be having a little bit of control issues, and maybe for some of you, Page of Pentacles doesn't necessarily mean, or it doesn't have to mean that you're just not applying yourself. It can be that you're just trying a little bit too hard to be in control, and maybe you're just you're not allowing yourself to surrender to the circumstances or surrender to everything. It's like you're in meditation mode, but you're not completely letting go. You're not completely letting go of control of your own mind. You're not, it's like you're in meditation mode, and like, you're doing the whole like, you're in your posture, and you're breathing in deeply, but your mind is still scattered, and it's still like thinking like you're still worried a lot. Does that kind of make sense? There's still this need of like needing to know exactly what's going to happen. And I feel like with this Surrender and Focus card, you have to learn to just let go of control, to not worry so much about the hypothetical scenarios or the hypothetical outcomes. Don't worry so much about what could happen. Worry about what you can do now, and worry about what will happen with the actions that you partake in. Does that make sense? There's a lot of blue here. There's a lot of blue and green, which tells me so blue is throat chakra, right? So set your intentions. Be clear as to what you want. When you're meditating, be clear as to what you want to manifest, especially with this Libra full moon. Be very clear as to what you want to manifest, and don't say, I want this. Say it as if. Say, I am so grateful that I have earned X amount of money. I am so grateful that I have made this new friendship connection. This friendship connection is so da-da-da-da, and go on and on and on. And do that. And surrender, and don't try to force it. Don't try to force anything. Simply set your intentions and let it go and set it free. Okay? Set it free like the wind, and don't let those worries or anxieties of like, is it going to be true? Is it going to come true? Da-da-da-da. No. Simply relax. I think that's why it's very important for you, a lot of you, to meditate, to relax, to step back for a moment, to give yourself that time to go into hermit mode. And I feel like once you surrender, once you kind of just like let go of everything, you will be presented with a lot of abundance. I see some sort of offer that is coming to you. For some of you, this could just be the universe giving you some sort of offer, some sort of abundance in your life. If it's like monetary or spiritually, or like in terms of like jobs, whatever it may be, you will be presented with a lot of abundance, probably by the end of the week. Or if not, then maybe just sometime within the month or whenever it comes to you. Don't worry about the timing. Don't worry about the timing. Just know that it will come to you when you are ready for it and when it is ready for you, okay? It's kind of like manufacturing, or yeah, let's say manufacturing. Let's say like a factory, right? And let's say we're making a shirt. Obviously, you can't just wear a piece of cloth. I mean, you can, but if you want a specific shirt, you can't just wear a piece of cloth and be like, okay, that's the shirt. No, you have to wait for it to be sewn. You have to wait for all the details to be made. You know, the sleeves, the detail, like all of this other stuff. You can't just expect it to be ready right when you get there. You have to wait a little bit, and that's okay. That's just part of the process. Um, and you have to just know that the shirt will reach point A to point B soon enough. It will. You just have to let it go and not worry about it so much. It's for example, actually I'll leave that. I don't want to get too deep into it. But I do see a lot of abundance coming to you, but it will only come to you once you let go of control, once you surrender. And I see just like a lot of fertility, a lot of really great things, a lot of creative ideas coming to life with all of the green. There's just so many wonderful things. Also, I mean, this is like the fall, right? And this looks like fall colors, all of this. So if it doesn't come to you this week, then just know that it will come sometime this fall, or soon. It will come soon, and there's just so much abundance that will just come to you. It's simply a matter of surrendering, letting go of control, but also applying yourself. It's not just writing it down and expecting it to come to you. No, it's writing it down and knowing that it will come, but with work as well, and by applying yourself. Does that kind of make sense? So that is all that I have for you, Group 1. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it resonated with you. If you liked it, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your feedback. Give the video a big thumbs up. Share with your friends, family, lovers, teachers, classmates, whoever. And subscribe. Hit the bell notification to know when I upload my videos in the future. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at sinfulpluto.com. The link will be down below if you just want to go there. And make sure, please, to read all of the terms and conditions, policies, the descriptions to know what you're getting yourself into so that you are aware as to what my process is. And if you want to find me on social media, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. Okay. Any other information that you want to know will probably be linked down below or written down below. So that is it. I hope that you take care of yourselves, and I love you. I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hello, Group 2. Obviously, if you chose this pile, you chose the amethyst. I love this crystal so much. It is chef's kiss. All right, so let's get into your cards. First, I'll go into tarot, followed by the oracle, okay? So we have the Two of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, and then the King of Swords. All right, so honestly, I see like a lot of changes for you. For some reason, I feel like there's just a lot of changes. There's a lot of action being taken. There's a lot of initiative being taken, which I honestly really enjoy. And I feel like for a lot of you, Group 2, you're going to be learning a lot. You're going to be growing a lot as people. The Two of Pentacles talks about a few things for me. One, it can talk about some sort of decision that you have to make. You know, maybe you're going a little bit back and forth on something, but I see you making a very clear decision, and I feel like there's nothing that's stopping you. I would say be careful with any sort of impulsivity, making any sort of decision that is not well informed. Please make sure that you're making well informed decisions, that you know what you're getting yourself into, that you have read all of the fine print before you just jump into it. I don't want you to just go blindly into something and then later regret it because you didn't pay enough attention. Just a little warning. But I see a lot of initiative, and I see this a lot of resilience from you. I see a lot of like high intelligence. I feel like matters of the heart aren't necessarily the main theme or playing a huge role this week for a lot of you with this Group 2. I feel like a lot of intelligence, a lot of intellect is taking place here. It's taking precedence, I feel like. Because there's the Two Swords, and there's like a succession, a progression of the Knight to the King. Right? So there's a sense of maturity here. The person that you are this week, I feel like, is going to be a lot more different in the sense that you're growing a lot. You're gaining a lot of wisdom. You are learning. You're gaining a lot of experience, I feel like. Whatever decision that you are making right now is going to provide a lot of really wonderful experience and a lot of it's going to provide some sort of life lesson to you, if that kind of makes sense. I feel like this is just something very noteworthy of you, something very significant for you. It feels very significant. I feel like you have your eyes on the prize, and I feel that with this Two of Pentacles, having it upright tells me that you can have the best of both worlds. You don't necessarily have to choose one or the other. If there's a way for you to merge both worlds or to do both things at once, I would say that you can do it if you are determined and resilient, and if you have a sort of plan, if that kind of makes sense. For some of you, it's kind of strange almost, but I see some sort of business between you and a father figure, or like a masculine authority figure, and I say that because I have the King of Swords here, which for some of you, if this isn't like a maturation that's kind of taking place, I see two different people where it's like the mentor and the student almost. You know, the mentor is the one who has all of the knowledge, all of the wisdom. He has gained insight. He has already gone through this sort of phase, because something that I see similarly is like this is the decision, right, with the two rainbows. I'm not flipping you off, I promise. The rainbow, and then the rainbow in his sword, which to me is like, there's just some sort of knowledge I feel that he has acquired from this decision. Like, there's some sort of experience that this king has lived through that I think he is passing down to this knight. And I feel like the knight is very excited. He wants to get into it immediately. It's almost like Karate Kid when he just wanted to learn all of the moves immediately. He didn't really care he didn't really care to learn like all of the stuff that his sensei was teaching him, you know? Like the wax on, wax off sort of thing. But at the end of the day, that wax on, wax off thing really paid off, and it really helped him because it was like the fundamental stuff, if that kind of makes sense. It was I don't even know how to describe it, but I feel like a lot of you will know what I'm talking about. But it's just that passing down of knowledge, that passing down of experience. So if there's someone who's trying to help you, someone who's trying to mentor you, listen to them, because I feel like they have a lot of really great advice for you. If you're looking for a mentor or a teacher or of sorts, I think that you will find one. And I think it's important for you to find one, to take advice, to listen to advice, to ask teachers for advice, to ask professors, mentors, maybe even parents or friends who have gone through the same experience, or whoever who has been in that field or in that area of life that you want to partake in. Asking for guidance, advice, all of that sort of stuff is really going to help you this week, I think. There's just a lot of intelligence just going around. It feels like very mercurial, actually, for a lot of you. There's just a lot of communication. There's a lot of, like, networking almost. I also see that for some of you, there's some sort of business deal that could be taking place, like a contract is being signed, and it's mutually beneficial with this Two of Pentacles. This is like a mutually beneficial agreement, and I feel like it's going to work out for both of you. And I feel that it's just going to go very well. The only thing is that I would make sure that this is like a 50-50 deal, that some person is not benefiting more than the other. Make sure that it's like a 50-50 sort of thing, that there's like balance and all of that, that there isn't just someone taking advantage of you because you're young and a little bit naive almost. It could also be where the roles are reversed, where you are the one who is older, who is being a mentor for someone else. You know, reverse the roles however way you need to, okay? But I do see that. I also feel like some of you could be kind of going back and forth between these two energies, where, you know, at some days you're the knight, some other days you're the king. You know, some days you're like really impulsive, some days you're like really very fast and like analytical and logical, and you make very quick decisions. You make snap decisions, and sometimes that doesn't work in your favor. But there's like someone who's making snap decisions, and then there's someone who kind of steps back and thinks about their experience, you know, uses their wisdom to their advantage, uses their knowledge to their advantage, things along those nature. So things along those lines. It could be that as well, where you're kind of going back and forth between these two energies. Excuse me. And next we have fruition, new beginnings, or new moon beginnings, okay? And then we have resistance. Interesting. So we have fruition and beginnings, which I really love, okay? We have 37, 2, and 25, so that's like, okay, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10. So you could be seeing 10, 1, 2, or the number 7 a lot, like numerologically. In numerology, you could be seeing a lot of those numbers recently, especially the 2, because we have the 2 of Pentacles as well, like the 2 of Pentacles, and then the number 2 with beginnings. So there's that. So there could be some sort of decision for you that leads you to some sort of new beginning, some sort of new phase of life. I don't know why, but I feel like some of you you might be moving somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be like moving locations, but I just see a lot of driving, a lot of networking, a lot of meetings, a lot of conferences. I see a lot of talking, contracts being signed. Whatever it is, I feel like this is something that you've been working for a while. With this fruition, this is something that you wanted. This is something that you like really wanted. Like whatever it is that you have been working for is finally coming into fruition, and like it's like a harvest. You know, you're finally harvesting everything, and everything is just working out, and it's going very well, and I feel like it's just a very high energy. It feels very airy. Feels very just intellectually oriented. A lot of like, if for some of you, it could be just like a lot of math. Something like around math or numbers that is just taking place. Be careful. Make sure that you're paying attention to the numbers and that you're not missing out any numbers. You know, if you're like an accountant, for example, pay attention to numbers and stuff like that in terms of like accounting and whatnot, and like perhaps like how much you're being paid, things of that nature. But I see that you have worked a lot, and I feel like some of you have manifested either this contract or this mutually beneficial agreement or business deal or whatever it is, and I see it working out very well for you. I feel like you're going to learn a lot from this. You're going to gain a lot of wisdom from this scenario, and honestly, you deserve it. You deserve this, and with this beginnings card, I just feel like this is a whole new beginning for you. You know, this is the big break that you wanted. I keep feeling that this is a big break. I feel like for some of you, by the Libra new moon, this could have a lot of things might have already manifested for you, where you get the business deal or whatever it is. For others of you, with this upcoming Libra new moon, I would really take advantage of of manifesting whatever it is that you've been working on. You know, just focus. I think focus is very important for you. Learn to focus on and honing in your energy on the thing that you want so that it can all come into fruition. But I really do feel like it will come into fruition for you. I really do see that. You know, you're just going into a life full of, into a new phase of life where everything is green, everything is abundant for you. It's a whole new beginning, which is awesome. And then we have resistance, which is actually really interesting. So even though there are a lot of wonderful things coming your way, some of you could be actually resistant to that. Maybe it's a little bit like self-sabotage, where you're resisting the new beginning, you're resisting the abundance, the fruition, because it's unfamiliar, because it's a little bit weird, because you're not sure, whatever it may be. Maybe you just feel uncertain or indecisive. And maybe you don't know whether or not you should go through with this decision or with this business deal or with whatever it is that you want. But I feel like it's important to just like let go. Let go of the iron grip, let go of the fist, and let the abundance just, you know, grow in the palm of your hand, because that is what's going to happen if you just let go of control. And, you know, don't let yourself to overthink. Don't let yourself overthink this week, okay? Don't sabotage your blessings, okay? That's a big thing for you. Because we have a lot of wonderful things, but you could potentially really fumble the bag for yourself if you get overwhelmed. You're like, oh no, like I don't know what to do with this anymore. Like, do I really deserve this? And just like going down this downward spiral of just overthinking everything and putting yourself in a lower vibrational state. Don't do that, okay? If you ever start feeling resistance, or if you ever start feeling overwhelmed or like you don't deserve it, snap out of that and distract yourself and say and affirm to yourself that you deserve this abundance, that this abundance belongs to you. It will be in your hands. It has been in your hands, and you have been working for this for so long. You deserve this. You deserve this. You deserve this new beginning. Absolutely. Okay? Don't think for a second that you don't, or that you are incompetent, or whatever it is. No, you are competent. You are resilient. You are a hard worker. You do deserve this. You deserve the abundance. You deserve the money. You deserve the prosperity, the success, whatever it is. You deserve it because you've been working for it. Okay? Okay. But yes, that is all that I have for you, my loves. I hope that you enjoyed. If it resonates, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know all of your feedback. Share with your friends, family, loved ones, lovers, teachers, classmates, coaches, mentors, whoever. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to know when I upload videos in the future. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at sinfulpluto.com. Make sure to read all of the terms and conditions, policies, descriptions, things like that, so that you are well informed as to how my process works and how, what goes down, okay? And if you want to find me on social media, you can do so on Twitter at Sinfulpluto and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. Okay? That is it. I hope that you have a wonderful week. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Group 2. How are you? I hope that you are doing well. Obviously, if you chose this group, you chose the Opal. So let's go ahead and get started with your cards. First, we'll get into Tarot and then Oracle. All right, so we have the Six of Cups reversed. We have the Queen of Wands, and then we have the Nine of Wands. We have the Masculine. We have the Path, and we have Will. So I'll leave these to the side for now, and then let's get into Tarot first. All right, so Six of Cups reversed. This can signify having a little bit of a hard time with transition, with moving forward. Maybe some of you are having a hard time letting go of the past, or maybe like even moving out of your childhood home, or, moving out of, your maternal figure's home, right? Maybe you're having a hard time kind of like getting out of the nest in some sort of way. Perhaps some of you are going off to college or something like that, right? And you're having a little bit of a hard time doing that. Or maybe you want to pursue some sort of dream of yours, but you're having a hard time doing that because, you don't want to leave your roots, essentially. You don't want to feel like you're being uprooted. Or it could be that there's a maternal figure or like a mother figure in your life, someone very nurturing, possibly a fire sign with the Queen of Wands. Someone who perhaps is like really good with animals in some sort of way, really loves nature. Anyways, maybe there's a mother figure, a maternal figure who's having a hard time letting you out of the nest, having a little bit of a hard time accepting that you were growing up, that you were maturing, right? And there could also be some sort of nostalgia with the Six of Cups reversed, some sort of like nostalgia and, but it's not really in a good way. It's actually kind of like in a really unproductive sort of way. This sort of nostalgia is like thinking about all of the good times, and in a way, for some of you, it could be like thinking of all the good times and ignoring all of the bad, or trying to ignore all of the bad and denying all of the bad, but just thinking of all of the good that happened and thinking about how the past was such a great time and how you want to go back to the past and whatnot. And the thing with this card is like, yes, the past may have been great, but that doesn't mean that you can go back, and there's no way for you to go back to the past, so you might as well keep on moving forward and creating more memories for yourself and creating better memories for yourself. It doesn't have to be just the past memories. Living in the past is just, you're not able to completely live your life fully. You're not able to live your life fully when you're living in the past, because you're always thinking of back then. You're always thinking of history. History is just history. You can't relive that. So for some of you, it's important to remember that just because you had a great past or just because you had good times doesn't mean that you can't move forward. It's important to move forward, to make progress so that you can grow as a person. Because if you're simply living in history for all of your life, then you're not really learning, you're not really growing, you're just in the same old routines and just reliving the same day or the same month or the same year over and over and over again. And that's honestly kind of boring. I also feel like for some of you, there could be a Queen of Wands energy who wants to come back into your life, who is trying to appeal to your emotions or to your memories or to your nostalgia by saying, look at all of the good times that we had. There could be someone who's doing that, trying to appeal to you, trying to come back into your life, trying to snake themselves back into their life. In which case, that's up to you to decide, but with having the Six of Cups reversed tells me that it's just like a no-go. It's not, for some of you, with the Six of Cups and the Mother and the Queen of Wands, this Queen of Wands can represent what you need to do this week. Be a little bit more passionate, a little bit more fiery, rather than kind of just being passive and being like, oh, like I wish we could go back into the past, because at the end of the day, you can't. No matter how much you wish, you can never go back to the past. So you might as well kind of just stop wasting your breath and wasting your time by thinking all of the thoughts about the past, and do something a little bit more productive, a little bit more proactive, and apply yourself a little bit. Queen of Wands tells me that, again, if there's something that you're passionate about, go for it. And with this Nine of Wands, this tells me that there is a ladder that you need to climb. And I feel like you're so close to reaching the top. You're so close to reaching the top of the mountain, to reaching that peak. And I feel like some of you maybe are kind of looking down at that mountain and you're thinking, wow, like I miss the people that I had when I was at the bottom, and now I don't have anyone, and now it's just me alone at the top of the mountain. And you're thinking like, wow, maybe I should go down and basically erase my entire journey and go back to the people that I love, or go back to the people that I once knew. But you have to remember that when you were going up this mountain, when you were kind of having this uphill battle of sorts, right? And you were losing all of these people because they got too tired, or for whatever reason it might be, finding some sort of excuse to not reach the top because they were too tired, or because they couldn't do it, or whatever it may be on this figurative mountain. It's good that you lost not that you lost these people, or that these people didn't make it to the top of the mountain, because it shows their character, not yours. If you were able to get this far, it means that you can push to the last minute, to the last part, to reach the very top and enjoy it. And yes, maybe you will be alone at the top of the mountain. However, you being at the top of the mountain means that you were resilient enough to make it to the top. It means that you have a strong character. It means that nothing held you back, that you were able to overcome your mind, overcome your anxiety, overcome your doubts, whatever it may be, and you continued going even though it may have been hard, even though it may have felt like a burden, even though it made you feel really vulnerable, and it pushed you, and it pushed your boundaries. But unlike the other people who didn't make it to the top of the mountain, you persevered. And you should be commended for that, okay? Don't be like the other people who say that they're too tired to reach the top of the mountain and they'll do it some other time. Don't be the person who just doesn't test your boundaries, in the sense that you can't test how far you can go and how much progress you can make, okay? Push yourself a little bit. Push your limit a little bit, so that each time you build up endurance. And each time you can go a little bit faster, a little bit faster. When someone, for example, starts running for the first time, or starts training for a marathon, and if they have no running experience whatsoever, their times in terms of like running a mile isn't going to be very good, okay? It's probably going to be like in the 11-minute range, 12-minute range, 13-minute range. And it's because they don't have any sort of practice. But if they're practicing every single day and pushing themselves, even to the point where they feel really exhausted and they feel like they've reached the point where they can't go any longer, if they push themselves just slightly, like it doesn't have to be that much. I'm not saying take leaps and bounds, okay? But if you push yourself just slightly past that point of limitation, you build up your endurance, and you further increase that endurance, and you further decrease that resistance. Does that kind of make sense? So I feel like for some of you, it's important to stand your ground, to be passionate, to take action, to take initiative this week, to climb up this mountain, to climb the ladder, so that you can follow your own path. Don't worry about other people. Don't worry about the past. Don't look down on that mountain and be like, oh, wow, like I really miss the people down there. I miss the environment. No. This is for you. This is your time. This is your journey. This is your path. Don't worry about the other people. Let them follow their path. And if you are meant to meet at the top of the mountain, then you will meet at the top of the mountain. But if you're not meant to meet at the top of the mountain, that's okay. That is absolutely okay. You can enjoy the view just fine alone. It's okay. So, we have the masculine lunar god. We have we have the path, and I really love the similarities in the imagery because there's a ladder in both of them. There's a ladder in both of them. So climbing the ladder to success is what is happening this week. And then we have will. So free will. So we have the masculine, right? And something that really popped out to me and stood out to me were the two little kids over here. This to me really symbolizes or resonates, I think, with the Six of Cups, the past, childhood, memories, nostalgia, right? Excuse me. Some of you really might want to go back to the past. You want to enjoy childhood. You want to enjoy being a kid, not having responsibilities, not having to do anything, right? But some of you just eventually have to take action. Eventually, you have to tune in with your masculine energy, taking action, being assertive. This doesn't mean male energy. This means masculine. We all have feminine and masculine energy within us. Okay, we have to take action. We have to do something. We have to continue moving and going rather than just being passive or submissive or just letting everything happen to us. No. This isn't time for just letting life happen to us by accident or whatever. It's time to create our reality, to create a better life for ourselves, to follow our own path, to be a little bit of a warrior, to connect with our inner warrior, with our inner strength, right? So that we can follow our path, so that we can climb up this ladder all the way up to our path, to our destiny, to what is meant for us. And we have to have the will to do it. And it also says that we have free will. This will card, this says that we have free will to do whatever it is. It's our choice to do whatever it is. It's our choice to remain in the old, to remain in history, to continue reliving the past, to continue. It's like that movie Groundhog Day, right? We have to choose to repeat the same day over and over and over again, even though he was completely out of control of doing that in the movie. But I'm saying... we have the choice to completely repeat the same experiences, the same day, all over again, every single day for the rest of our lives. Sure, we have that choice. But we also have the choice to do something differently so that we can step out of that loop and create new paths and a new reality for ourselves. That's completely up to us to decide to do. Does that kind of make sense? So... I see a lot of you. Also, it's crazy. Sorry, it's crazy. We have 42. 42, and that adds up to 6, and 6 of Cups, and they were like right on top of each other. It's so cool how they just do that thing. That's just so fucking awesome. You could be seeing a lot of 8s this week. And also 8, the path. You could be seeing a lot of 8s this week, right? You could also be seeing a lot of 4s with will. 13. You could be seeing a lot of wills. Or a lot of number 4s in your life. So 8 and 4. Okay. It's time to assert yourself, I think. And if there's something that you want that is at the top of the mountain, it's up to you to go up that mountain and to not wait for anyone else. Don't wait for other people to follow you or to do what you want. Sometimes you just gotta do shit alone. Sometimes when other people are just distracted or doing their own thing, you just gotta let them do their own thing and go out of your way to do your thing. All right? So that is what I have for you, Group 3. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope it resonates. Let me know if it does in the comments down below. I would love to hear your feedback. Share the video with your friends, family, lovers, teachers, classmates, coaches, whoever. And subscribe. Hit the bell notification to know when I upload my videos. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at sinfulpluto.com. The link will be down below. Make sure to please read the terms and conditions, the like policies and whatnot, just so that you know what you're getting yourself into and that you are well informed as to what my process is. You can also find me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. Okay. So that is it, my loves. I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, group 4. How are you? I hope that you are doing well. If you chose this group, obviously you chose the lapis lazuli, so let's get started, okay? I pulled more cards than I did for the other piles because you're special. No, I'm just kidding. I just thought that the cards were very important to read, more than just the 3, so I decided to pull a little bit more. But we have the Chariot reversed. You could be dealing with a Cancer in your life, or Cancerian energy could be something that is very prominent for you this week. It could also just be that you're a Cancer or have Cancer placements. We have the High Priestess reversed, so a lot of water energy going on. We have the 8 of Wands reversed and the Moon reversed, Pisces energy, also Cancer energy, a lot of Pisces Cancer energy going on, a lot of emotions, a lot of feels, a lot of stuff going on here. And then lastly, we have the 4 of Wands. So let's get started, shall we? We have the Chariot reversed, right? So some of you could be feeling a little bit unfocused in life, feeling distracted. Maybe your emotions are just getting the best of you, feeling really cloudy, feeling really foggy, feeling like you don't really know where to go, what to do. Maybe some of you are just feeling a little bit distracted and you're kind of veering off the rails because it's just like you're getting distracted by all of these different things, all of these different stimuli, and you don't know which path to take. Some of you could be feeling a little bit indecisive, or it's just simply feeling a little bit passive this week. Maybe you feel as though there are so many other people like trying to tell you all of these things and give you their perspective and tell you what to do, and rather than it helping you, it's just distracting you even more. It's making you lose focus and even more. It's making you feel not all that assertive, not all that independent. There's a kind of like even a codependence, maybe even for some of you, right? There's just a lot of energy going on where it's like regressing rather than making progress. It's regressing rather than progressing. And for some of you, it might feel as though you're just like going back in time. Like history is kind of repeating itself. You're making the same old mistakes because you're being a little bit careless, or maybe even a little bit mindless, or maybe just something is just holding you back from reaching your full potential. Maybe you're holding yourself back from asserting your independence, from, asserting your ground, standing your ground, doing what you want without worrying about other people. It can be that you're just feeling really passive this week. We have the High Priestess reversed, and especially with this Moon card reversed, I really do feel like something is going to be revealed to you. Some sort of secret that kind of halts your movement, and I say that because we have the 8 of Wands reversed, and both of these kind of signify the same thing. Both of these cards are all about movement, and that's why I kind of wanted to pull more cards, because the theme this week for you all is very, very strong, like very strong and very prominent. We have the 8 of Wands reversed, which is like, to me, distraction. For some of you, with the Chariot reversed, okay, let me slow down. For some of you, it could be that you're having a hard time asserting your independence. You're having a hard time, being action-oriented, moving forward, asserting yourself, being a little bit more, not aggressive, but assertive, right? For others of you, it could just be with this Chariot reverse that some of you are moving impulsively, making very quick decisions without thinking them through, making uninformed decisions, making just hasty moves, really hasty moves for some of you, right? And that's why you're not quite hitting the target. You're not quite hitting the bullseye, because there are like mindless mistakes that are being made because you're not paying close attention. So there's 2 different energies that are kind of taking place here for all of you this week. And I feel like there's some sort of secret that is being revealed. I feel like it could have to do with like the subconscious, where like there's just a lot of repressed feelings that are coming up, and that could be kind of slowing you down or halting you, because it could be that some of you might not have healed completely from something from your past, and it feels like with this Chariot reverse, like I said, you're moving to the past, you're regressing in your progress. I feel like for some of you, it's because you haven't completely healed from the past. And so I think that this week, it's time for you to acknowledge what may have happened in the past, whatever that is, to acknowledge it, to let yourself feel whatever it is that you didn't give yourself room to feel before. Give yourself that room, give yourself that space to go through all of the emotions. Don't linger in it. Don't just rush through the process either. Don't linger in that energy either. But let yourself feel what you have to feel. Acknowledge everything. Acknowledge how you felt and validate that. Make sure that you realize that it's okay for you to feel that way, that you are valid in having those feelings, okay? Maybe write everything down for that happened in the past. Write it all down if you can. Release the emotions in any way that you can. Meditate, practice yoga. I will always recommend this because it will never not be good for you. Journaling is so helpful for you. Speaking to yourself in the mirror, or just speaking to yourself in your own presence and talking your way through your emotions, asking yourself, how do you feel? Check in with yourself. Check in and see how you are feeling and how you have been coping. Have your coping mechanisms been healthy for you? If not, what can you do to make them more healthy? What can you do to create better habits so that you're not just repressing and repressing and repressing and eventually everything just explodes in your face and now you really have to deal with a bigger mess than you had to deal with in the past? Does that make sense? I feel like for some of you, you might be just trying to move forward. You might be trying to rush into everything at once. And it's just not helping you. And so we have the Four of Swords, which is telling you that you need to rest for a little bit. You need to take your time off. You need to disconnect. You need to meditate. You need to reconnect with yourself. Disconnect from the outer world and go into your shell a little bit and reflect. Take time for yourself. Rejuvenate, refresh, reset. Let yourself feel whatever it is that has been coming up to the surface, whatever it is that you've been pushing down and pushing down and pushing down, not wanting to feel it, not wanting to acknowledge it. And I know that Cancers, we have a tendency to do that. Even though we feel a lot, we don't like it. We don't like feeling vulnerable because we're told all of the time, you're a crybaby, you cry over everything, you get hurt over everything, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, yo, I just feel a lot. I'm sorry that you don't have feelings. I'm sorry I don't process things the same way. And actually, you shouldn't be sorry for processing your feelings the way that you do, or for feeling the way that you do, because it means that you have a lot of emotions, and that's okay. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to just want to be in your shell. That's completely fine. You don't have to do the whole suppression thing, the repression thing, to make other people feel comfortable. Because then you're not comfortable. Because you have all of this garbage in your little pool of water. And that's disgusting. That's ugly. We don't want that. We don't want that garbage. We need to throw out that garbage properly. Okay? Rather than creating an ugly landfill. We have to do something different. Okay? So I feel like there's just a lot of things coming up. Something that I noticed is the crescent moons. I don't remember. I can't tell if this is a waning crescent or a waxing crescent, but whatever it is, I recommend that you look up what a crescent moon is. If you know what type of crescent moon this is, if this is a waxing or a waning, look that up and see if it might have any sort of significance to you, okay? Okay. I feel like this week might feel a little bit dark. I mean, we have pretty dark imagery here with these cards because we have all of this kind of darkness here, right? It feels very dark, and I feel like some of us are trying to be in the light. We're trying to be in the light, and this is the card upright, but it's reversed. We're trying to be in the light. We're trying to just rush through the darkness. We're trying to rush through the dark forest, but in doing that, we trip and we fall and we get lost, right? And that's why we kind of have to take the time in the darkness, even if it's a little bit scary. But just because it's dark doesn't mean it's scary, okay? Fear is an illusion. I feel like that's just something to stand by, and that's something for all of us to learn in general. But don't let your mind overcome you. Don't let your mind convince you to be afraid, okay? You can be in control of the fear. Obviously, this doesn't mean that it's just gonna go away in the blink of an eye. No, we're human. We're obviously going to be feeling those things because we just can't help it sometimes. But convince yourself or talk to yourself out of that sort of mental process, and don't get so caught up in the anxiety, in the doubts, in the intrusive thinking, in the pessimism, in all of that, okay? Easier said than done, absolutely. It's a process, yes, but very possible. Again, slow down, okay? If you're trying to speed through the whole darkness, if you're trying to speed through this dark forest that you might be in or that you feel that you're in, slow down a little bit, because you begin to enjoy or appreciate, appreciate the darkness and appreciate the shadows. Don't run away from your shadow. It's okay to be with your shadow sometimes, you know? It's okay to let it sit in. I feel like we learn a lot of things when we're in the dark and we're not overstimulated by all of these other things. When we're just in silence and in the dark, we learn a lot, right? Because it's just our own mind with us when we're going through that time and through that moment. So give yourself a rest. Don't pressure yourself. Don't try to move through anything really fast. And if you have been feeling really distracted, maybe you just need a little bit of time to rest, to disconnect, so that you can create a new plan and re-strategize. And take care of yourself, okay? Really, take care of yourself. Take care of your health, your mental health especially. Check in with yourself, manage, and just make sure that you're okay, okay? Next, we have discernment, darkness, and growth. We grow a lot in the dark. That's literally what I was saying. We grow a lot in the dark. Also, the number 1, 4, and 5 could be significant to you this week. I say that because we have 10, 40, and 5. Those are the numbers of the cards. 4 plus 0, obviously 4. 1 plus 0, 1. Okay, you get the gist of it. So those could be very significant numbers to you. Growth is not always comfortable. We get distracted, we lose focus, people distract us, people try to discourage us to, get us off the rails, whatever. And we become a little bit overwhelmed because we are so overstimulated. And so it's important to use our discernment, okay? Your mind might feel very cloudy. Your mind might feel really foggy and you don't know what to do, and you might feel like really freaking out. You might feel like you're maybe even claustrophobic. You might be freaking out this week, or you might freak out this week. But it's important to check in with yourself, to use your discernment. Is this truly a life-threatening situation, or am I just getting caught up in my emotions? Am I getting caught up in the anxiety or in the moment? Is it truly a life-altering situation or life-changing situation in a really negative way? Or is there a better way to handle this? Is there a better way to handle the current situation at hand? It's important to use your mind and to think critically rather than just following your emotions blindly and getting yourself into situations that could easily be avoided if you just sit down and think for a little bit, okay? I know that specifically for cancers, and I'm saying cancers because we have the chariot, and so if you're a cancer, I'm talking to you. If you have cancer placements, I'm talking to you. I know it's easy to get caught up in our emotions, and I know it's easy to follow our emotions because it's what we know and because it's our instinct. But we as cancers can sometimes be very emotionally impulsive, and we end up making really bad decisions because our mind was so clouded with the emotions. And then once the mess is made and once we've cooled down, we're like, oh shit, what did I do? And then we run away and we go into our shell, and we're like, it didn't happen. I'm just going to avoid it. I'm going to pretend like it didn't happen. I'm going to pretend like nothing happened. I didn't do anything. And we refuse taking responsibility for the mess we made. So, it's important this week that we don't get so caught up in the emotions. If you're feeling really emotional and if you're feeling, like really caught up and that you absolutely have to do this one thing because it's what you think is right or it's because what your emotions are telling you or whatever it is that's telling you to do it, stop. Let yourself cool down first. Think. Is this the right thing to do? Is this the rational thing to do? Am I going to regret this decision or action once it's done? Am I going to negatively impact other people by making this decision? Am I going to negatively impact myself by making this decision? Think critically. Okay? Okay. Darkness. What was I talking about? It feels very dark, yes. And that's why we have to use our discernment rather than letting our impulses, our emotional impulsiveness get the best of us, okay? I already talked about this. I'm not going to get too into it. Growth. Growth is not easy. It's not really supposed to be easy because we as humans rarely ever take the easy way in terms of growth. So sometimes we make it a little bit hard for ourselves to grow because we like the comfortable things, right? And because we like security, which is fine. We're human. It happens. It's just the way we are sometimes, right? When we sit in silence, when we use our mind, when we think critically, when we go beyond what we know, and when we push ourselves to do things differently that ultimately impact us in a very beneficial way, we grow as people. And with everything that is being or that will be revealed to us this week with this High Priestess reversed and the Moon reversed, we grow and we learn and we learn to do better. We learn how to manage ourselves. We learn how to manage our emotions. We learn how to properly handle a situation the next time it comes around. Yes. There's a lot of growth, I think, that is in store for us this week. But it's important to sit with it and to be open to it rather than just run away from it because it looks like darkness. Because sometimes growth doesn't come until we go through the path of darkness, right? And not many of us want to do that. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. It's scary sometimes. Darkness can be scary. Because we don't know what to expect. But that's how we learn sometimes. Okay? So, my loves, I hope that this resonates with you. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comments down below all of your feedback, thoughts, whatever you want to say in the comments down below. Share with your friends, families, loved ones, coaches, teachers, neighbors, classmates, whoever. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to know when I upload my videos, and if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at Sinfulpluto.com. Please make sure to know or to read all of the conditions, the terms and conditions, policies, descriptions, things like that, just so that you know what you're getting yourself into, and that you're well informed as to what my process is, okay? And if you want to find me on social media, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. I will leave everything down below. If you want to check out my description box, feel free. There will be other good stuff over there. And that is it, my loves. Please take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi, Group 5. How are you? I hope that you are doing well. Obviously, if you chose this group, you chose the pyrite. So let's just get into your cards. First, we'll do tarot, and then oracle, and then we'll be on our way. All right? So let's get into it. So we have the Six of Swords, right? So transition is going on. This came out, like, when I was shuffling, it came out like this, like, on its side. So I'm kind of going to interpret for both upright and reversed. We have the King of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles reversed. Okay, Earth sign energy. We have the Six of Wands. And then we have the Tower reversed. Okay. So the number 6 seems pretty relevant here because we have two sixes. We have the Six of Swords and the Six of Wands, right? For a lot of you this week, we see some sort of transition, a phase of transition with the Six of Swords. Maybe some of you are moving, going on vacation. Maybe you're just moving around a lot, driving around the city, running a bunch of errands, stuff like that. But the Six of Swords can also signify transition, right? Moving forward, progressing, letting go of the past, moving on from the past, letting go of all of it, like I said. And creating a new reality, creating a new life, going on to a new chapter of your life, right? I feel that for a lot of you, there is a need to move forward, to move on. There's a metamorphosis that has to take place. Something that really catches my eye. I feel like a lot of you might be seeing rainbows a lot this week, or even butterflies a lot this week with the Six of Wands. I feel like for some of you, you could be dealing with a King of Pentacles reversed energy, someone really selfish, not that charitable, someone who's just really miserly. They only think for themselves, and they only have their best interests at heart. They don't really care about what other people want or what they think. They're just not all that considerate of people. They think of how they can benefit from other people, and they're kind of like people users in a sense. So you could be dealing with people like that, or this could signify your own energy for some of you, which I'm not judging. It's fine. We're all human. It happens, right? So maybe there is some sort of behavior that is self-serving that you need to let go of, that you need to move forward from. Maybe some of you are, a little bit of like attention whores this week with the Six of Wands. Not saying all of you, and obviously this obviously isn't going to apply to everyone. However, it's possible. But it could just very well be another person in your life who is just, not very considerate of you, of your feelings, of your time. Someone who doesn't really have the best of boundaries. They just expect you to run on their own time. They don't really care about what you want or what you need, or anything along those lines. Does that kind of make sense? It could also be that this person just isn't all that generous with you. Maybe you ask this person for a favor this week and they're just like, nah, like I'm not down for it. I'm sorry. Nope, sorry. And they clearly have the means to do so, but they just don't care to do it. They don't really want to help. They are just thinking about how that will impact them. Right, and so there's a need to kind of like grow from the situation with the Six of Wands, like the butterfly, to grow from the situation, grow from the adversity, so to speak, and to do better, to be better. I also feel like there's some sort of acknowledgement that has to take place with the Six of Wands, like having to recognize something, having to recognize the reality of a situation. Maybe some of you don't really want to admit that this person just isn't for you, that this person doesn't respect you as a person, that this person doesn't respect your boundaries, that this person is just kind of a leash in a sense, that this person is just kind of parasitic, they are kind of lazy, they don't really want to put in any of the work, they expect everyone else to put in the work and then just like take and take and take and take. Maybe some of you didn't really want to admit that, and maybe you have to move on from this person this week. And yes, it's a little bit harder. Yes, it's easier said than done, absolutely. And some of you might be resisting that with the Tower reverse. Maybe it's because you're so used to this person. Or maybe some of you are used to being this person, used to not having to take other people's feelings or boundaries into consideration because it was almost like it was your world, right? And so whatever way this might apply to you, there's a need to restructure. There's a need for new beginnings, for new perspectives. I feel like there is a need for revelations. I feel like some of you might have a lot of revelations this week with this Tower card. And those revelations will help in promoting change, new beginnings, restructuring, in clearing out the old, clearing out the space, or to clear out anything that just wasn't productive, that wasn't helpful, that wasn't beneficial, that was kind of just stagnant, and to create a better reality, to build something new, to build something that is worthy of your time, to build something that you actually love, to build something that you enjoy. Essentially, that's really what it is. I feel like there really is a new beginning here. There's a sense of transition this week with this Six of Swords. And I just feel like you don't really want to walk away because it just seems like there are a bunch of like shards of glass that you see that you don't want to walk over. But there's like literally a pair of shoes right next to you that could very well help you in either walking over the, not even, you don't even have to walk over the glass. There's literally like a broom right next to you. You can sweep it up. clear up the space. You know, you don't have to walk through the thing. You just gotta move it aside. That's all that it is. Either move it aside or take another route, okay? It doesn't have to be that way, you know? It doesn't have to be a very specific path, okay? And so I feel like some of us are having a little bit of difficulty in letting go of the past or in letting go of the reality in which we are living because we're so used to it, and it's almost like we feel as though we are deserving of it or that we are worthy of this because this is all that we know now. And we don't know how to process the new, and so we're like, oh, like we kind of reject it because we don't want to deal with it. We kind of reject it because we don't, you know, we don't want to have to like get comfortable again, you know? But it's like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? There's opportunity in new beginnings. There's opportunity in change, in a new beginning, in a breath of fresh air, right? We're not breathing the same oxygen all of the time. The same, like, the oxygen that we breathe isn't the same exact thing every single time, in the sense, like, it's not the same air. Does that make sense? Like, the air that I breathe here is different from the air that I breathe here. Does that make sense at all? I don't think that makes sense, but I hope it does. Okay. But yes, I feel like we have to open ourselves up for change this week. And there's a lot of things changing. There's a lot of things breaking down. There's a lot of structures breaking down. There's a lot of power structures specifically breaking down, okay? And we have to recognize that. I feel like it's kind of a thing this week where it's action versus inaction. And sometimes inaction is just as bad as taking the wrong action. You know what I mean? And so I feel like we just have to move away from our old habits and go through the whole thing of metamorphosis. I feel like this week is a huge week for metamorphosis, for blossoming into something new, into something different, and letting go of the old, out with the old, in with the new. So we have blossoming 33, master number. You could be seeing 33 a lot, or the number 6 a lot. We have wisdom 22, or the number 4, again, master number, and then we have realization 3. So 3, 33, 22, 6, 4, and 3 could be significant numbers for you this week. 33 and 22, those are like, I love the synchronicities of this all. Oh my god. So you could be seeing those numbers a lot, okay? We have blossoming, right? So this is a time for new beginnings. A lot of things, it's just ready for things to blossom, for no longer it's for like stagnant energy. And it's also important for you to reap the rewards of your own work rather than someone else taking advantage of the work that you have done and just taking what you have worked for so long. That's not fair. It's time for you to be recognized for your own work, and I think that no one else should take the credit for that. And I think that it's time for you to do what is best for yourself. Allow yourself to blossom. Allow yourself to become this beautiful butterfly rather than letting someone else kind of convince you that you are not a butterfly, that you're just like this ugly little thing, little creature that is not worthy of love or time or compassion or empathy or whatever. Be open to change. Be open to blossom, to connect with your inner strength, your inner child, your inner self. And do what makes you happy. Some of you could be like a violin player. A violinist. I'm just saying that because there's a violin here. Music could be significant to you this week. Maybe you make music. If you make music and if people have been convincing you that you are not worthy and that you will not make it big, fuck them. And don't let them leech off of you, especially once you become successful. Or start to become successful. There's a lot of abundance coming your way, honestly. Also, you might need to work on your heart chakra. We have a lot of green. So working on heart chakra, affirming that you are worthy, that you are deserving, that you're full of love, that others deserve love, that you deserve love. There are a bunch of ways in which you can work with your heart chakra. Just look it up, okay? I'll also probably do a thread later in the future on Twitter, but I'm not there yet. So we also have wisdom. So this week is very much a learning week. We're learning a lot. We might need to do some research. We need to put in action to do research, to connect with our intellectual side, to, read some books, to gain insight, perhaps to ask advice from someone who isn't a King of Pentacles reversed, to gain insight, to learn, and to be open to learn, rather than just thinking that you know it all, because maybe some of you think that you kind of know it all, which, I mean, it happens. We're all human. I don't judge you. I've been there, okay? We're all human. But it's time to gain higher wisdom and to reach higher than what you may have been reaching for in the past, okay? Do things differently, like I said. Expand your mind, expand your soul. Open yourself up to learning, okay? Build yourself up, climb the ladder. Take the time to learn, to go on a journey of wisdom, to meet new people, and reach for the stars. Reach for the stars. And then we have realization. I feel like a lot of you, by doing this research, by asking for advice, who actually do have your best interest at heart, I feel like a lot of you are going to reach some sort of realization. You're going to have the key. And I feel like for some of you, like whatever it is that you end up learning this week, that's going to give you like a major revelation. Like I said, revelation, realization. And I feel like if someone has been making you feel smaller and, trying to act all superior, right? King of Pentacles reversed. If this person has been doing that, I feel like you're going to find the key in order to kind of like free yourself from this person, to free yourself from the darkness that this person has, and to follow your own path. I feel like you're gonna, like, the key to like this new beginning, or like the major key for you this week is learning and wisdom and using your knowledge to your betterment. That's the key this week, because that's going to help you learn a lot of things, and it's going to help you like come to major realizations, and it's going to unlock a big door for you that's going to allow you to blossom and to come into your own self, to step into your own power this week. But we can't just resist that, If, for example, if this person has been telling you that you can't do a certain thing, or if this person has been, like, forbidding you from, like, it's in a kind of, like, a metaphorical way where, like, let's say the stepmom forbids you from, like, going into the attic or something, and she, like, scares you into never doing that, and then, like, one day you get so curious that you go up, and then you see, like, there are so many, like, things that she was hiding from you that could have really benefited you. For example, there was, like, an inheritance that you found there in the attic. So it's, like, that sort of thing. Be curious, ask questions, ask the right questions to the right people. Do significant amount of research rather than being passive, so that you can unlock the door and follow your own path and do your own thing, and even free yourself in a way. To free yourself from anyone who has been making you feel unworthy, right? And to just surrender and have a death rebirth situation going on here, okay? So that is all that I have for you, my loves. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that it resonates. If it did, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your general feedback anyways of the video and of this. Give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Share with your friends, family, neighbors, loved ones, teachers, whoever you want to share it with. And hit the subscribe button if you want to continue supporting me. Hit the bell notification to know when I upload my videos. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at Sinfulpluto.com. That will be linked down below. Make sure to read all the terms and conditions, the policies, descriptions, things of that nature, to know what you're getting yourself into, and so that you're well informed as to what my process is. If you want to find me on social media, you can do so at Sinfulpluto, or sorry, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. And I think that is it, my loves. There's other stuff in the description box if you want to check it out. If not, have a wonderful day. I will see you next week, okay? I love you. Bye.